Hello friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Raj. Today I'm going to be talking about very important topic. So many people ask me the same question over and over, if a piano and the keyboards are same or if there are any difference. So I'm going to first explain the differences between the piano and the keyboard. Then I will tell you some similarities, because that similarities really confuse people to make believe piano and the keyboards are same, but it's not. That's not the truth. And at the end I will give you my personal opinion whether you should buy a piano or keyboard as a beginner to learn piano or keyboard. Before we move on, let me give you a mini story about a piano. Steinway D274. This is a grand piano, was built in 1984. That's the model name, Steinway D274. And this was the world's most expensive piano, was sold in an auction. In 1997 in London, they sold it for $1.2 million. Why I'm telling you? Because now you can get an idea about the price ranges in piano. You can buy a piano for $500 all the way over $1 million. After I explain in details, you will understand why there's a price differences between pianos. If you ever get a chance to look inside a grand piano, don't miss it. Just look inside, because most of the expensive pianos, they kept the top part open so people can see inside. So if you get a chance, don't miss it. Just see what's inside. Then you can understand the mechanism about how the things works inside. When you look inside the piano, you will see strings in there, like strings on the guitar or violin, but this strings are a little bit thick. So you will see so many strings in there, and if you look even on the bottom, you will see hammers connected to each strings, and those hammers are connected to each keys. So when you press a key on a piano, that hammer will hit on the string and that will create a sound. Now I will answer the question why some pianos are cheap and some are really expensive. They have to put a lot of material, especially the strings, the hammer and the key are very expensive. Also the wood, the expensive wood they put, all give high quality sound when they put the high quality material. That's why they charge more. And if you pay $500 for a piano, they wouldn't put that much quality material in there, but they will put a standard one, but the quality will be like for that price. Also when you put high quality material, the piano also will give a rich look. I just thought about telling you about organ also, because organ works slightly different than the piano. You would see organ mainly in a church, because the organ require a big space. Because in the piano there's a hammer that hit the string and make the sound, but in the organ there's a pipes inside. Instead of strings and hammer, there's a pipe like a flute, because when you blow an air in a flute, that makes a sound. So same way in the organ, when you press a key, that push an air inside the pipe and that create the sound. So in big churches, they put like huge pipes and they build a room just for an organ. So the high quality pipes they put in, high quality sound they get. Nowadays, not many organs available because it's too expensive to make it and it's not portable. So you can only see at the church or museum, but I don't think anybody would have it at home nowadays. So the organ work with the air. Also you will notice harmonium, accordions, all in the same family. Organ, harmonium, accordions are same family because all work with the wind. The harmonium, you push the air this way, the accordion you push the air this way, and then you play it. So all these you don't need electricity power except the organ. Organ you need the electricity. So let's come to the keyboard now. So they wanted to create an instrument because back in those days musicians were having really hard time because piano is very heavy and big, so it's very hard to move. So it's really a problem for a musician. So they came up with an idea to create an instrument so they can take it with them like a portable. So they invented keyboard, and they made it look like a piano layout. If you look at the keys, they made it look like a piano. And what they did, they sampled the sound. Sample mean they recorded each piano keys and they programmed it inside the keyboard. They put that soundboard underneath the keys. So every time when you press the key, that soundboard, the button programmed for each keys, will play that piano sound that they recorded. So actually you are getting a sampled tone on a keyboard. It's not the real hammer action. They programmed it, and that's why keyboard to keyboard the piano sound will be different, because sometimes they record the piano sound from high quality piano. When you pay a high price, they record it from the high quality piano. When you pay a cheap price for a cheap keyboard, they record it from a low quality piano. So whatever the sound that piano gives, that's what you can get on the keyboard. But nowadays a lot of people add the effects to the piano to sound better, because the piano sound come with the keyboard. It's not that great. They were success on making this sound, so they started playing pianos on the keyboard. Then they thought about, okay, why don't we sample the sound from other instruments as well? Then they came up with an idea, okay, why don't we sample the sound from other instruments? Then they recorded flute, violin, guitar, drums, tabla, everything, and then they programmed it all into the keyboard. Now I hope you will understand the difference between the piano and the keyboard. Piano is an acoustic instrument. Piano itself, it's just an instrument. On piano, you can only play piano. On drums, you can only play drums. On violin, you can play violin. Flute, you can play flute. But only in keyboard, you can play everything. And it's all like artificial sound. They sampled from each instrument, they programmed it, and when you hit the key, that will play the sound, that's all. Okay, now let's come to the conclusion. Piano itself is an instrument, but the keyboard is not. On piano, you can only play piano, but on keyboard, you can play any instrument you want, even the vocal. Nowadays, they recorded the vocals, and if you hit a note, that will sound like a human. So, piano is piano, keyboard, they just made a machine to play other instruments. And the other difference between piano and keyboard, piano doesn't need electricity, but keyboard need. But now they are making a digital pianos that's different. The same idea. They made the piano a little bit portable in the way of digital piano. So they made it smaller, and you plug into the power and you can play, and that will give you the sound like acoustic piano. And the other different, piano does not have a grand piano does not have a volume control, but keyboard has a volume control. If you want high volume, you can put the volume up and just hit the note, that will sound high, and if you bring it down, that will be quiet. But on the piano, there's no volume control. It's all on your fingertip and your mind. So now I'll give you my personal opinion. If you're really serious about becoming a pianist or musician, you should invest some money to buy a piano. You don't need to buy a grand piano, because that will be very expensive and less portable. Get a digital piano, that's what I would recommend. So if you practice on the keyboard, because the keyboard keys are very soft, then when you get a chance to play on the piano, you can play, because the piano keys are very hard and you are not trained to play those keys, so you can't make it. But if you get trained on the piano keys, you learn the hard way, and when you get a chance to play a keyboard, that will be like a piece of cake for you. I wanted to become a professional musician, so I invested the money on the piano, and once I start practicing on the piano, now I can play on any keyboard that I want. Now I invest my money on the keyboards that I like. So as a beginner, buy a piano and learn the hard way. Then you can, once you are mastered with the piano, then you can choose any keyboard you want and you can play around with it. But if you are just learning as a hobby, just for fun, don't waste your money on the piano, because you will get bored. Because the piano, you can only play piano. There's no fancy items in there, so you would get bored. So don't waste your money. You're just playing for fun. So you just buy a keyboard, it's very cheap and there's so many choices, and have fun. Okay guys, that's all for today. If you like my video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you are new to my channel. Thank you and have a good day.